What the heck is going on, everybody? I'm here to show you my best settings for the Modern Warfare 2 beta on PC. Now, I'll go through this first page, although it doesn't matter too much. You should be playing on full screen if you want the best response time. I have mine on borderless so that I can go back and forth between OBS while I'm streaming. And if you need to change these two settings right here, you might have to go to full screen before you can do that. Anyways, match the screen refresh rate to your monitor. Same thing with the display resolution. Make sure dynamic resolution is off. Down here, we're going automatic for the aspect ratio, off for these two. Custom frame rate limit, you should have this on unlimited. The reason why we're not matching that to the screen refresh rate is that it's still important that it can go above. It's not a hard cap at that screen refresh rate. Like if I was to make this at 144, you want it to have the opportunity to go above those frames, assuming that your build can do that. For the display again, we have that on 2.2. Focus mode, turn that off. And then I have my HDR on automatic. For quality, depending on what you chose when you're loading up the beta, these settings might look a little bit wonky. What I had to do, if you want this to be custom, you're gonna have to go change these settings to off. One of these may or may not be on. Whichever one that you can turn off, turn it off, and then they should be able to be moved around. What I actually had to do is change my quality preset to like a balanced or a basic or something like that, so that my render resolution would go lower. When I turn that up, it then gave me the options to do custom for the quality preset and then change the things down below. Fidelity cast, make sure you turn that on with the strength up to 100. This is going to make your game look a lot better. This is one of the settings in Vanguard that we decided to go with, and it's kind of stuck ever since. For anti-aliasing, I have this on the SMAAT2X with the nearby level of detail at low. Now is when we get to the juicy stuff. This also becomes a little bit opinionated and depends on your build. For me, I have a 3080. However, I stream and record from the same PC, so I'm not going anything crazy with the texture resolution. I have it on a healthy middle ground of normal. I do turn the texture filter low. I have the particle quality actually on high. It doesn't have too much of a difference in the VRAM usage. Bullets, impact, and sprays, I keep that on. Shader quality, low. Tessellation, low. On-demand texture streaming, make sure you have this off. You do not want this on. In Vanguard, it created a ton of packet bursts, and so changing this setting helped out a lot in that regard. Streaming quality, have that on low. Shadow map resolution, low. Spot shadow quality, low. Now for these two, the cache spot shadows and the cache sun shadows, leave both of those on. Particle lighting, we're going to go with low. Ambient occlusion, we're keeping that off. SSR, we're also keeping off. For the NVIDIA Reflex low latency, some people have this on plus boost. I like to keep it on just on. That's worked for me in the past years. Worked for me in Vanguard. We're going to keep it there. Depth of field, make sure this is off. You don't want your screen getting blurry for any reason whatsoever, which is why we also have the world motion blur off and the weapon motion blur off, and the film grain all the way down to 0. Let's apply those. For the view, these are also kind of opinionated. For me, I like 105. It's a healthy middle ground where you get to increase your FOV, but it doesn't mess with your aim assist like it has in previous Call of Duties. Today, I'm about to go live and stream the beta. I'm going to try bumping it up to 120 and see if I notice too much of a difference. I will report back if that is the case and if I go with that. But for now, I'm staying with what's true to me, going with 105. For ADS field of view, we're staying affected. There are a couple reasons why you would want to go independent. Some AR players prefer it. Some keyboard and mouse players prefer it. Me personally, as an SMG, as a controller play, affected makes the most sense to me. Weapon field of view, I've kept this on default. I haven't messed around with this too much, but that seems like the most likely option for now. I bumped up the third person field of view, of course. And then make sure that you go into the first person and third person camera moves and turn those all the way down so that your screen shakes as little as possible. For y'all controller players, I will go into my controller settings as well, just so that y'all can choose the best aim for you. I personally play claw, so I shoot with L1, R1. I have default flip, with that being flipping L1 to L2 and R1, R2. All of these will change based on personal preference. This is just what I personally run. I'm a 6/6 sensitivity. I don't mess with the sensitivity multiplier here, but I do a little bit later on, so stay tuned for that. Aim down sight, behavior, hold. I do run automatic tactical sprint, especially now that we're in a beta. I'm not preparing for a LAN or anything like that. I don't have to worry about gentlemen's agreements. Hashtag save the thumbs. We're going with automatic tactical sprint. And those are the rest of my settings there. For everything advanced, obviously keep your aim assist on. I like the Black Ops aim assist type. It worked best for me in Vanguard, so I'm keeping it up now. If I make any changes, I will obviously let y'all know. Make sure your aim response curve type is dynamic, with the transition timing being instant. Now here's where I go into the custom sensitivity per zoom. I turn this on. I've always ran 0.95 for the low zoom and then 1.1 for the high zoom so that the snipes are a little bit snappier. And then my ADS with the SMG is a little bit slower in that regard. If you're on console and want to change this, you're going to have to plug in a keyboard and mouse so that you can actually click here and manually type it in. And yeah, for the inputs dead zone, this is a huge one for controller players that some people don't realize. Now for the left stick, man, I put that all the way down. I don't really have a problem if you find yourself like walking and not meaning to walk. You wouldn't want to bump that up. For the right stick min, you want to get this as low as possible without your crosshairs moving. So you're going to need to go into a game to do this. I just know that for my controller personally, 0.03 is the way to go. If you start getting stick drift, be sure to bump that up one at a time until you don't have stick drift anymore. Those are the rest of my settings there. One other setting that you have to turn off, you want grounded mantle to be off, as well as airborne mantle off and automatic ground mantle off. That'll stop you from kind of mantling over ledges when you don't mean to in the middle of gunfights. Something that I've struggled with previously. I'm just going to go ahead and turn all these off and not even worry about it. The rest of my settings are as followed. I don't think there are any crazy important ones here. And yeah, those are my no-nonsense Modern Warfare 2 beta settings for the PC. Try these out. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any changes that you would prefer, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you enjoy, let me know with a like or a sub, and I'll catch you next time at lunchtime.